Well, I'm up at Government House and investiture, a very special one, and I'm glad to say that I'm talking here with Gordon, who's in your 90s, sir, is that right?
Pardon?
You're in your 90s?
Yes, another month and I'll be 91.
Wow. Now you've got this Arctic Convoy investiture here from the Governor today.
Yes.
For something that, obviously, I mean, Second World War, it seems like a long time ago. What's going on?
70 years since we were there, yeah, 70 years.
So why now, then?
Well, that's the point. Personally, I think a simple little strip to put on the Atlantic Star on the ribbon was sufficient, instead of all these millions of pounds on a medal. On one little, other events are celebrated that way. It's a little strip, Arctic Convoy, and that would have been, what, how many % less?
But look at this, it's a grand day out.
Oh, yeah.
And the Governor doing it, and you had your
Yeah.
some family and friends here as well, so that's nice.
Yeah.
Can you take us through the stories of that time that you were serving?
Yeah, well, I joined, having played music from the age of 6, I learnt then, and I'm still playing in the same band. So that's a good record, isn't it? So because of that, I looked out for anything music, and the Royal Marines were here at St George, had a little band, and I joined the Royal Naval School of Music. And after a while, it was split. The junior wing was sent to Housedrake here, and the senior to Scarborough. And for some reason, whether they saw my address, a party was sent over to help the young, they're only 14, 15, to get everything set up. So that was a few months, and I went back, and then I was appointed to this HMS Edinburgh. There's only 2 alike. The one that's by the Tower Bridge in London, called the Belfast. The Belfast and Edinburgh were identical. And joined that, and the first trip out was a Russian convoy, and we got there okay ourselves, but not the merchant ships all together. But coming back, we were loaded with gold. People, the Russians repaying for what they'd had in tanks and planes and everything like that, and they reckon now it's at least £50 million value. Well, that was loaded onto us. And we got out about 3 days, and a submarine torpedoed us on one side, blew off the quarterdeck and 2 of the propellers and the rudder, left 2 propellers, and listed, of course. And then after another 2 days, 3 destroyers came out from North Norway, and unfortunately put another torpedo opposite one of the others, of course, broke its back. Now, we're all trapped in small, what we would call a room, like a sort of a bedroom, trapped in with all battened down. And when you think back, now I think more of it now. I'm more frightened now than I was then. And quite a few of our crew were actually trapped alive, just sealed in, you know. But we managed to knock hard and got out. And we were then put in a Russian barracks in near Murmansk, a place called Poliano. And unfortunately, where I was, right at the bottom of the ship, where our place, all I had was a pair of old slippers, like shoes on, and just a pullover. I think I had a pullover on. But up on top was about 30 plus 30, whatever you call it, the freezing.
Minus 30?
Yeah, minus 30. And those are up on top. They had great big, massive duffel coat and everything. And I was like this, and it comes out. And also we had these life belts. I could hardly swim. Life belts, which you had to blow up, you know, around here. So I goes out and I go, and nothing's happening. And I go, and the washer actually went off. And I said to the corporal, oh, I can't swim enough. And he said, you're all right, I haven't even got my belt, he said. So anyway, the sole of the shoe was a bit rough, and I managed to get a knife, and I made a washer. So, but fortunately, if we had to go in there, we were dead in 5 minutes. But what happened, 2 smaller ships came alongside, and there's about 800 crew, rough figures, and about 400 on each one, and were taken away. And unfortunately, it was a blizzards, and these destroyers lost us then, and we got back. And when we got to this place, to get a meal, we had to travel a mile or 2, or a mile each way, to another barracks to get a meal. And of course, I was down in the stuff in the slush straight away. Mm-hmm. And when you got there, the food, well, mostly soup, but raw fish just sliced, and that you had to eat that, supposed to. And so we were all about 5 stone we got back. And that was that, but no tea. But in the entrance hall, there's big tables, and the Russian soldiers, and they had branches of pine, and they were chopping these needles down to tea leaf size, and that was your drink. And it was strong, very strong. And so we just lost it.
What amazing! I mean, and this is to some people now. Well, it is. It's history, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
You're talking about a long time ago.
Yeah.
But you survived it.
Yes.
And these other medals you got on today obviously tells another story as well.
Yeah. Well, the 2 end ones are general issue for the war, 39, 49. So there's difference in it apparently. That one there should be the Atlantic Star. That's for generally out in the Atlantic, which a little clip would have done for me. And then the next is the Burma Star. You might not believe it, but Burma Star, I was on the second ship then, the Royalist, and we never put a foot ashore, but we had 6 small aircraft carriers. Our admiral was in charge of that group of 6 little carriers, and we used to have to fly them in to help the troops, and we had radar and all to guide them in, but we never got. We were just living on about smaller ship, about 700 of us, just trapped on this thing, and that was long months. And then we got down to Rangoon, and then on to relieved Rangoon, and then on down to Singapore for the final setup. And our band, we were there to play the Queen and the King or whatever it was. And not long ago on the television there was a half hour about all that. And I said to my wife, now just listen, will you hear the King? Boo, 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 boo. And I said, there we are.
That was you?
After all those years.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations again. I know...
By the way,
yeah.
In case you think I was playing my trombone all the time, no, very rarely actually with all the action stations. Our place was called a transmitting station. It was linked with the director of gunnery who was in seeing everything, and we were right down, and the link was with the guns. We had this, what you'd call now a computer, but a massive thing it was, not a little thing. And we said put all the settings in to get good gunnery control. And then every so there was 12 guns, and they'd light up when the people closed up. It would light up, and I had to report. The job I had to report to the director that everybody was there, and then he could fire.
Well, I was going to say just congratulations again, and I know there was 2 other Manx lads.
No, that's a song I got misquoted.
Oh,
there was 3.
3.
Terry O'Grady. He was an electrician type. I thought he worked down in Drumgold Street, but somebody else said I think on the harbour board something. And there was Bernie Kermwood from Ramsey, who was, funny tale, the ship's blacksmith. The ship's blacksmith.
Right.
Yeah, because at sea, you got to have somebody there to do it, any damage. And the other was a chap called Pearson. He lived down, I think, around Lord Street. I think he was at the harbour board or somewhere as well. But there was 4 of us on out of 800.
Well, we're going to have to leave it there because I know they're expecting you next door for
Ooh.
your celebration cup of tea, I believe.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, they can wait.
congratulations.
Anyway, thank you.